Lisa Martinez stood at the large observation window of the UESS Mercy, watching the stars drift by as the massive hospital ship moved through space. Her white medical uniform reflected in the thick glass, and she could see the tired lines around her eyes. As chief medical officer, she hadn't slept much in the past week. The ship's quiet hum was broken by the medical bay's emergency alert. She turned away from the window and hurried down the bright white corridor. Her footsteps echoed against the metal floor as she made her way to the trauma center. "Status report," she called out as she entered the medical bay. The room buzzed with activity as nurses and doctors prepared for incoming patients. Amy Baker, the head nurse, looked up from her medical tablet. 3 escape pods from the battle near Xavier's colony. 2 humans and 4 Drachnid soldiers, all with severe plasma burns. Lisa nodded and began preparing for surgery. The UESS Mercy took in anyone who needed help, no matter which side they fought for. That was their purpose, to heal, not to judge. Captain Frank Powell's voice came through the ship's speakers. "Medical team, prepare for pod retrieval in 5 minutes. Security teams, standard protection protocols." The massive hospital ship had been Lisa's home for the past 5 years. At nearly 2 miles long, it was the largest medical vessel ever built by humans. Its white hull was marked with bright red crosses, marking it as a neutral hospital ship protected by galactic law. The rescue went smoothly. Lisa worked for hours, treating the wounded soldiers. The Drachnid's tough scales made surgery difficult, but she had treated their kind before. Their purple blood stained her gloves as she carefully repaired damaged organs and sealed burned tissue. Dr. Martinez, one of the human soldiers, whispered as she checked his bandages. "Why are you helping them?" "They killed my friends." Lisa adjusted his pain medication before answering. "Because that's what we do here. Everyone who comes through those doors is just a patient to us. Nothing more, nothing less." Later, in the ship's busy cafeteria, Lisa sat with Security Officer Kevin Mitchell. The young officer was eating his dinner while watching the various species around them. Humans, Drachnids, and even a few Zrixians with their distinctive golden skin. "Quiet day by our standards," Kevin said, taking a bite of his sandwich. "Only 8 new patients." Lisa sipped her coffee. "Quiet is good. It means fewer people are getting hurt out there." The ship's captain joined them, his gray uniform neat as always. Frank Powell had commanded the Mercy for 7 years, and he ran the ship with calm efficiency. "Just got word from command," he said, sitting down. "The border fighting is getting worse. We might need to move closer to the combat zone." Lisa frowned. "Are we still getting clear signals from both sides that they'll respect our neutral status?" "Yes," Frank assured her. "Both Earth Command and the Drachnid Fleet have reconfirmed our protection under the Galactic Medical Service Treaty. We're as safe as houses out here." Kevin checked his security tablet. "We've got 312 patients on board right now. 87 human, 146 Drachnid, 43 Zrixian, and 36 from other species." Lisa thought about all those lives in their care. The UESS Mercy wasn't just a ship, it was a symbol of hope. Out here in the darkness of space, they showed that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its weapons or its warships, but its willingness to help others. The captain's communicator beeped. He checked it and stood up. "Bridge needs me. Looks like we're getting signals from another battle site." "I'll head back to medical," Lisa said, finishing her coffee. "We might have more patients soon." As she walked through the ship's corridors, Lisa passed dozens of medical staff and patients. Some were in beds, others walking slowly as they recovered. A young Zrixian child waved at her, his golden skin glowing softly in the bright lights. Lisa waved back, smiling. This was why she had chosen to serve on the Mercy. Every person they helped, every life they saved, proved that even in times of war, compassion could survive. The hospital ship sailed on through the stars, a beacon of hope in the darkness of space. The first blast hit the UESS Mercy without warning. The ship shuddered, and emergency lights flashed red across every deck. Lisa Martinez grabbed a nearby rail to keep her balance as the second explosion rocked the massive hospital ship. All medical staff, secure your patients. Captain Powell's voice cracked through the ship's speakers. This is not a drill. We are under attack. Lisa's heart pounded as she ran to the intensive care unit. Through the observation windows, she caught glimpses of 3 dark ships appearing out of nowhere. Their angular shapes marked them as cracks in vessels, their stealth fields dissolving like black ink in water. They're firing on a hospital ship, Nurse Amy Baker whispered in disbelief as she helped strap down a patient's bed. How can they do that? We're protected under galactic law. The third blast tore through the ship's port side. Lisa heard the horrible sound of metal tearing and the high-pitched whine of failing force fields. The lights flickered, and emergency containment doors began closing automatically. All personnel, begin emergency evacuation procedures, Captain Powell ordered. His voice remained steady, but Lisa could hear the tension in it. This is Captain Frank Powell of the UESS Mercy. We are a neutral hospital ship. Please cease fire. We have over 300 patients aboard, including your own people. Kevin Mitchell rushed into the medical bay, his security uniform covered in soot. Dr. Martinez, we need to get these patients to the escape pods now. The ship's taking heavy damage. Lisa nodded, switching to emergency mode. Amy, start with the critical care patients. Kevin, we'll need help moving the life support units. They worked quickly, moving patients onto transport gurneys. The ship's artificial gravity wavered, making everything more difficult. Through it all, Lisa could hear the continued impacts of enemy weapons. This is your final warning, Captain Powell's voice came again. We are a clearly marked medical vessel. Your actions violate every convention of interstellar warfare. The only response was another volley of shots. The lights went out completely, leaving only the dim red glow of emergency lighting. The air began to feel thin as life support systems failed. Hull breach on decks 4 through 7. A computerized voice announced calmly. Emergency containment failing. Lisa helped push a gurney carrying an unconscious Drixian child toward the escape pod bay. The boy's golden skin had turned pale, but his vital signs were stable. Behind her, Amy guided more patients while Kevin carried a young human girl in his arms. The main escape pod bay is gone, Kevin reported grimly. We'll have to use the emergency pods on this level. They're smaller, but they'll have to do. They reached the pod bay as another explosion rocked the ship. Lisa could see other medical staff helping patients into the remaining pods. Through the bay windows, the 3 Kraxan ships loomed closer, their weapons still firing. Captain, we need more time, Lisa called through her communicator. Doing what we can, Doctor, Frank replied. Static crackled through his words. Bridge systems are failing. We've sent out a distress signal, but look after our patients. Powell out. The next blast hit directly above them. The ceiling groaned, and warning lights flashed around the pod bay doors. Lisa helped load the Drixian boy into a pod, then turned to assist more patients. Doctor, you need to go now, Kevin said, pushing her toward the pod. This section won't hold much longer. But there are still patients. Lisa started to protest. We'll get them in the other pods, Amy promised, already moving to help the next group. Go. The ship lurched violently. Lisa found herself inside the pod with the Drixian child and 2 other patients. The door sealed automatically, and emergency thrusters fired. The pod shot away from the dying hospital ship. Through the small window, Lisa watched in horror as the Kraxan ships continued their attack. The UESS Mercy's white hull was now scared and burning. More escape pods launched, tiny dots of hope against the darkness of space. The last thing Lisa saw before the pod's emergency jump drive activated was a massive explosion tearing through the center of the hospital ship. The Mercy, a symbol of humanity's compassion, broke apart in silence against the backdrop of stars. The young Drixian boy woke up as the escape pod drifted through space. His golden skin glowed weakly in the dim emergency lights. Lisa Martins helped him sit up, checking his vital signs on the pod's small medical screen. "Where are we?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Where is the white ship?" Lisa's throat felt tight as she answered. "We had to leave the Mercy. But don't worry, we're safe in this pod." She didn't tell him about the 3 other pods they had seen explode in the past 2 days, hit by debris from the destroyed hospital ship. Kevin Mitchell sat in the pilot's seat, watching the emergency scanner. His security uniform was torn, and dried blood stained his sleeve. He hadn't slept since they escaped, keeping watch for any signs of the Kraxan ships returning. "Signal bearing 27 Mark IV, the pod's computer announced. "Ship approaching." Everyone tensed. Lisa moved to shield her patients, though she knew the thin walls of the escape pod wouldn't protect them from weapons fire. Kevin's hand went to his empty holster, a reflex from his security training. A large ship appeared in their view. Its hull was marked with Earth trade symbols, and Lisa felt hope rise in her chest for the first time in days. "Escape Pod Charlie 7. This is Earth Merchant Vessel Rising Sun." A voice came through their radio. "We see you. Hold position for rescue." The Rising Sun's cargo bay was full of other survivors when they were brought aboard. Lisa counted faces she knew, looking for her friends from the Mercy. She saw Nurse Amy Baker helping tend to wounded patients, her white uniform stained with blood, but her hands steady as ever. "Dr. Martinez," Amy called out. "We saved the medical records. The pod's computer copied them before we launched." She held up a data chip with shaking hands. "All their treatments, their histories. We didn't lose that." At least, Captain Sandra Miller of the Rising Sun gathered all the survivors in the ship's main cargo hold. "We've counted 14 pods so far," she told them. "The Drachnid patrol ship Blood Moon rescued 3 more. They're taking good care of the survivors." "What about Captain Powell?" Kevin asked. "Any word from the bridge crew?" Sandra's face grew sad. "I'm sorry. The bridge took heavy damage in the first attack. We haven't found any survivors from that section." Lisa looked around the cargo hold. She had worked with these people for years. Now less than 50 of them were left. She thought of all the patients they couldn't save, all the lives lost because someone decided to attack a hospital ship. The Rising Sun's communication officer rushed into the cargo hold. "Captain Miller, Earth Command is broadcasting on all frequencies. There, you need to see this." The ship's main screen lit up, showing Admiral Susan Carter of the Earth Defense Fleet. Her face was stern as she addressed the camera. 3 days ago, the hospital ship UESS Mercy was destroyed in an unprovoked attack. 2,847 medical personnel and patients were killed. The attack was carried out by ships of the Kraxan Empire, in direct violation of all galactic laws and treaties. The Admiral's voice grew harder. "The Kraxan Empire has denied responsibility, despite clear evidence of their guilt. They believe they can attack our hospital ships without consequences. They are wrong." Lisa watched the screen with the other survivors. The Zrixian boy held her hand, his golden skin glowing brighter as he recovered his strength. "Earth Command has authorized Operation Nightingale," Admiral Carter continued. "To all Earth ships and all Earth allies. The time has come to show the galaxy that attacking those who help others, those who heal without prejudice, will not be tolerated. The Kraxan Empire will answer for this crime." The screen went dark. In the silence that followed, Lisa looked at the faces around her. They had lost their ship, their friends, their patients, but they hadn't lost their purpose. And now, they wouldn't be alone in their grief. Admiral Susan Carter stood at the window of Earth Command's main conference room, looking out at the blue curve of Earth below. Behind her, 20 of humanity's highest-ranking military officers sat around a large table. The room was silent except for the soft hum of holographic displays showing the destroyed UESS Mercy. "The Kraxan Empire has made a terrible mistake," she said, turning to face the room. "They thought attacking the hospital ship would frighten us. Instead, they have united every human colony and settlement against them. Fleet Commander Peter Walsh nodded, his weathered face grim. Every ship captain in the fleet has volunteered for this mission. Even the neutral trading companies are offering their support. Show them the evidence, Susan ordered. Peter activated the main display. Images from the Mercy's final transmission filled the air above the table. The 3 Kraxan warships appeared clearly, their stealth fields failing as they opened fire. Security Officer Kevin Mitchell managed to transmit this data before the ship's systems failed. Peter explained, "We have proof it was the Kraxan 3rd Battle Group, commanded by War Leader Kraz Full." Admiral Carter touched a control, and the image changed to show a star map. The Kraxan think their home defense fleet makes them untouchable. They're about to learn otherwise. "What are you proposing?" asked Commander Alice Green, leader of Earth's Special Operations Forces. "Operation Nightingale," Susan replied. She pressed another button, and a new set of images appeared. "We're gathering the largest battle fleet Earth has ever assembled. Not for revenge, but for justice." The officers studied the battle plans. The operation would require perfect timing and coordination between hundreds of ships. "The Kraxan's main defense grid has never been breached," Peter pointed out. "They have sensor nets covering every approach to their core systems." Susan smiled slightly. "That's why we're not going to fight our way through. The young Zrixian boy rescued from the Mercy has provided us with vital intelligence. His people have suffered under Kraxan rule for generations. They've given us the codes to slip through their sensor nets." The room grew quiet as the officers realized what this meant. They could bypass the Kraxan defenses completely. "We're not going to destroy their bases or attack civilian targets," Susan continued. "We're going to show them, and the rest of the galaxy, that humanity is different. We'll strike only the ships and crews responsible for the attack on our hospital ship." Commander Green leaned forward. "My teams can disable their ships without destroying them. We can arrest the crews and bring them to trial under galactic law." "Exactly," Susan agreed. "We'll show them true justice, the kind they denied to the patients and medical staff aboard the Mercy." The planning continued for hours. Ships were assigned, battle groups organized, and precise targets selected. Every officer in the room knew this mission would change the balance of power in the galaxy. "The fleet will gather near Jupiter," Peter announced. "The new battleship UESS Retribution will lead the attack force. Captain Diana Wells has already been briefed on the mission." Susan looked at the faces around the table. Some of these officers had served with her for decades. All of them understood what was at stake. "The Kraxan Empire believes that might makes right," she said. "They think attacking healers and patients shows strength. We're going to teach them how wrong they are." She touched the display one final time, showing an image of the UESS Mercy before its destruction. The great white hospital ship gleamed against the stars, its red crosses standing out clearly against its hull. "Every hospital ship in human space has volunteer crews ready to replace the ones we lost," Susan told them. "They're not afraid, because they know that from now on, anyone who dares to attack a hospital ship will face the full might of Earth's fleet." The officers stood, their decisions made. Operation Nightingale would begin in 3 days. "Remember," Susan said as they prepared to leave, "we're not just avenging our dead. We're protecting every hospital ship that will come after. The galaxy will learn that humanity defends its healers." Jupiter's massive form filled the view screens of the UESS Retribution. The giant planet storm swirled below as Earth's battle fleet gathered in its shadow. Captain Diana Wells watched from the bridge as more ships arrived every hour. "Battle Group 7 has just jumped in," reported Navigation Officer John Cooper. "That makes 342 ships total." Diana nodded. She had never seen so many warships in one place. Sleek destroyers moved alongside heavy cruisers. Fast attack ships darted between larger vessels. Every human colony had sent ships to join the fleet. "Status report," she ordered. "All weapons systems are ready," reported Weapons Officer Linda Foster. "Shield generators at full power. Stealth systems are working perfectly." The Retribution was humanity's newest and most advanced warship. Its black hull absorbed sensor scans, making it nearly invisible to enemy detection. But today, it wasn't hunting alone. A soft chime announced a new arrival on the bridge. Diana turned to see Lisa Martinez and Kevin Mitchell step out of the elevator. The survivors from the Mercy had been asked to join the mission. Dr. Martinez, Officer Mitchell, Diana greeted them. "Thank you for coming." "We wouldn't be anywhere else," Lisa replied. She looked out at the gathering fleet. "I just wish it was under better circumstances." Kevin moved to one of the tactical displays. "I've uploaded everything I remember about the Kraxan ships that attacked us. Their weapon configurations, shield frequencies, everything." The young Zrixian boy they had rescued sat quietly in a corner of the bridge. His golden skin glowed softly as he studied a star chart, marking secret paths through Kraxan space that his people had discovered. "Fleet Admiral Carter is hailing all ships," John announced. The main screen lit up, showing Admiral Susan Carter's face. Every ship in the fleet received the same transmission. "This is Fleet Admiral Carter to all ships," she began. "3 weeks ago, the Kraxan Empire committed an act of barbarism by attacking our hospital ship. Today, we answer that crime not with blind revenge, but with justice." Diana watched her crew as they listened. Many had lost friends aboard the Mercy. "We carry with us the hopes of not just humanity, but of all those who believe in healing rather than hurting," Susan continued. "The Kraxan Empire will learn that attacking healers has consequences." The Admiral's voice grew stronger. "Jump coordinates have been transmitted to all ships. Operation Nightingale begins in 30 minutes. Remember your training. Remember why we fight. And remember the Mercy." The screen went dark. Diana turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Begin jump preparations." The bridge came alive with activity. Officers moved to their posts, checking systems and preparing for the long jump into Kraxan space. Lisa touched the medical symbol she wore on her uniform. "Will this stop them from attacking other hospital ships?" she asked quietly. "Yes," Diana replied firmly. "After today, no one will dare attack a vessel of healing again." The minutes ticked by. The great fleet moved into formation, hundreds of ships aligning for the jump to faster-than-light speed. "All ships report ready," John announced. "Jump coordinates locked in." Diana stood in the center of her bridge. "This is Captain Wells to all hands. In 5 minutes, we jump into Kraxan space. Our mission is clear. We find the ships that attacked the Mercy, and we bring their crews to justice." She looked at the fleet gathered around them. Ships of every size and class, crews from every human world, all united in purpose. "Jump drives spinning up," John reported. "Fleet synchronized. Ready on your command." Diana thought of all the patients and medical staff who had died aboard the Mercy. They had been healers, not warriors. But today, warriors would stand up for them. "All ships, commence jump," she ordered. The stars blurred around them as the fleet made the jump to faster-than-light speed. The largest battle fleet in human history vanished from normal space, heading toward a destiny that would change the galaxy forever. The human fleet emerged from jump space deep in Kraxan territory. 342 ships appeared like ghosts in the darkness, their engines running silent. The UESS Retribution led them through a gap in the Kraxan sensor net, following the secret path the Zrixian boy had shown them. "Status report," Captain Diana Wells whispered, though she knew the enemy couldn't hear them through space. "Stealth systems holding," Linda Foster replied from her weapons station. "The Kraxan defense grid isn't detecting us." On the main view screen, they could see the Kraxan home system. 3 suns burned in the distance, their light reflecting off the metal shells of orbital defense platforms. But the platform's sensors were pointing the wrong way, searching for threats from other directions. "The Zrixian data was perfect," John Cooper said from navigation. "We're completely invisible to their systems." Lisa Martinez stood at the back of the bridge, watching the tactical displays. The Kraxan military base they were looking for appeared as a red dot on the screen. Somewhere in that base were the 3 ships that had attacked the Mercy. Message from Fleet Admiral Carter. Communications reported. All ships are in position. Special operations teams are ready. Diana nodded. Show me the target ships. The screen changed to show a massive space dock. 3 Kraxan warships floated inside, their dark hulls being repaired after their last mission. Diana felt her hands tighten on her chair's armrests. Those were the ships that had attacked a defenseless hospital ship. "Ma'am," Kevin Mitchell called from his temporary station at security. "I'm reading the energy signatures. Those are definitely the ships that attacked us. Same weapon configurations, same engine patterns." The young Zrixian boy pointed to something on the screen. "That building there," he said softly. "That's where War Leader Krasful works, the one who gave the order to attack." Diana touched her communications panel. "All ships, battle formation Delta. Remember the plan. No civilian targets, no unnecessary destruction. We're here for justice, not revenge." The fleet moved with perfect precision, spreading out to surround the military base. Still, the Kraxan sensors didn't detect them. The element of surprise was complete. "Special operations teams signal ready," Linda reported. "Commander Green's forces are in position." Diana stood up. This was the moment that would change everything. "All ships, power up weapons. Disable their communications first. Don't let them call for help." The first shot of the battle came from the Retribution itself. A precise beam of energy sliced through the base's communication array. At the same moment, hundreds of other weapons targeted the base's defenses. The Kraxan never saw it coming. Their defense shields flickered and died as synchronized attacks hit them from all sides. Warning sirens began to blare across their base, but it was too late. "This is Captain Diana Wells of the Earth Defense Fleet." She broadcast on all frequencies. "Your base is surrounded. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. This is not a negotiation." On the tactical screen, they could see confusion in the Kraxan forces. Ships tried to launch, but precise shots disabled their engines. Defense platforms turned to fire, but were quickly neutralized. "Special operations teams are boarding the 3 target ships," Linda reported. "No casualties on either side yet." Lisa stepped forward. "The Kraxan never expected this," she said. "They thought they could attack a hospital ship and hide behind their defenses. They were wrong." Diana watched as Earth's forces took control of the base section by section. The 3 ships that had attacked the Mercy were quickly captured. War Leader Kraz Tull and his command staff were arrested by Commander Green's teams. Message from Admiral Carter. Communications announced. Phase 1 complete. All targets secured. The bridge crew cheered, but Diana raised her hand for quiet. "This isn't over yet," she said. "Now comes the hard part. Now we show the galaxy that humanity stands for justice, not vengeance." Through the view screen, they could see Earth ships moving to secure their prisoners. Today, the galaxy would learn an important lesson. Attacking healers had consequences, and humanity would always defend those who helped others. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council fell silent as War Leader Kraz Tull was led in chains before the assembled representatives. The Kraxan commander's proud bearing was gone, replaced by the slumped shoulders of a defeated warrior. Behind him stood Admiral Susan Carter and Captain Diana Wells, their blue Earth Fleet uniforms stark against the hall's white walls. "The Council recognizes Earth's representative," announced the Chief Justice, an elderly drachnid whose scales had faded to pale gray with age. Susan stepped forward. 3 months ago, this Kraxan commander ordered an attack on the hospital ship UESS Mercy. 2,847 medical personnel and patients died. Today, we bring him to answer for those crimes. The evidence was presented clearly and carefully. Kevin Mitchell's sensor recordings showed the attack in perfect detail. Lisa Martins testified about the patients they couldn't save. The young Zrixian boy spoke of watching his friends die as the ship broke apart. War Leader Krasful, the Chief Justice said, "How do you answer these charges?" The Kraxan commander lifted his head. We thought humans were weak because they stopped to help their enemies. We thought attacking their healers would show our strength. He looked at the Earth officers. We were wrong. Diana remembered the precision of Earth's response, how they had captured the guilty without a single death, bringing justice instead of vengeance. The true measure of strength, she said, is not in who you can kill, but in who you choose to help. The council chambers erupted in discussion. Representatives from a dozen species argued about the proper response. But in the end, the decision was clear. War leader Kraz Tull and his crew are found guilty of crimes against galactic law. The Chief Justice announced, they will spend the rest of their lives helping to rebuild what they destroyed. What do you mean? Krasville asked. Lisa stepped forward. You and your crew will work in medical centers across the galaxy, not as healers. You've lost that right. But as support staff, cleaning, maintaining equipment, helping those who help others. You'll learn what true strength looks like. The sentence was carried out immediately. But that wasn't the end of the story. Back aboard the UESS Retribution, Diana watched as a new ship took shape in Earth's orbital shipyards. Its white hull gleamed in the sunlight, red crosses standing out clearly against the pristine surface. The UESS Hope, Lisa said, standing beside her. Bigger than the Mercy, with better defenses, but still a hospital ship at heart. The Hope was just the beginning. Across human space, more hospital ships were being built, but now they carried a message that everyone in the galaxy understood. These ships were protected by Earth's full might. Dr. Martinez, Diana said, your new ship is almost ready. Lisa smiled. Almost. We're still training the crew. Would you believe we had 10,000 volunteers? Everyone wants to serve on a hospital ship now. The young Zrixian boy, now fully recovered, stood with them. His people had been freed from Kraxan control in the aftermath of the trial. My sister starts medical training next month, he said proudly. She wants to work on human hospital ships. Kevin Mitchell joined them, wearing his new security officer's uniform. The Drachnid fleet is sending escorts for the Hope's first mission, he reported. They want to show their support. Diana looked out at the stars. The galaxy had changed in the past few months. The Kraxan Empire's power was broken, not by force of arms, but by their own cruelty exposed to the light. Other species had seen how humanity defended its healers, and they had chosen to stand with Earth. The Hope launches next week, Lisa said. We'll carry the same mission as the Mercy, helping anyone who needs it, no matter their species or faction. She touched the medical symbol on her uniform. But now everyone knows. Attacking a hospital ship means facing Earth's justice. The stars seemed brighter somehow as they looked out at them. Somewhere out there, more people needed help, and humanity's hospital ships would go to them, protected by the memory of the Mercy and the knowledge that Earth's fleet stood ready to defend those who defended others.